Welcome to the On the Edge podcast with your host, Scott Groves. Hey, what's up, boys and girls? It's Scott Groves with the On the Edge podcast. I'm actually here with a new friend, Steven Dossou, who's coming to us from Turkey via the Netherlands, via, Togo, West Africa. So quite the world traveler. We got introduced by a friend of a friend, and a buddy of mine was like, man, you have to interview Steven. He's one of the most uplifting guys. He's got a crazy travel story, transformational story, works with kids on vision and tenacity. And so I'm just excited about the conversation. So thanks for being on, Steven.
Thank you so much, Scott. I'm excited. Well, just to correct right there.
Sure.
Scott, my work, I call myself a youth advocate because I believe that the youth is the future. However, my work mainly doesn't deal with kids, but mostly young professionals and corporate.
Nice. And yeah. Tell me about your life, because obviously we got introduced by somebody here in the United States. You're originally from Togo. You were just telling me before we started about some of your crazy travels around Europe. You're currently stationed in Turkey. So what is your origin story? Like, how does Batman start here?
Action Man. I got the nickname Action Man. So okay, Scott. Here we go. Okay. I was born in Togo, Togo, West Africa. I need to put that out there because usually when I tell people Togo, they were like, Tokyo. I'm like, no, not Tokyo. Okay. You got to look at me very well, right? I don't even have the Japanese accent. So I'm originally from Togo, West Africa. That was where I was born. And I was born in a little 2-bedroom house, in fancy English, they would say you grew up in humble, conditions. But the truth is we grew up poor, okay? Togo is a country that has about 7.8 million people population till today. North to the south is 600 kilometers and east to the west is 180 kilometers. So it's a very small, tiny country. And the basic salary there until today is less than $50 a month. Okay, so yeah, okay. Yeah, you see that face you did there, yeah. So hear me very well, okay? I didn't say $50 a day, I said $50 a month, okay? So growing up, in those conditions, walking to school 10, 15 miles every single day, I was lucky enough that at a certain point, I decided to study economics, and I did a basic projection. So I finished high school at 15, at 18 already, I was doing my first degree in economics. And I did a projection. I was like, okay, so here are my life aspirations. I'm this kid, even though I grew up in those circumstances, I'm this kid that's dreaming big. I want to do things. I want to be out there in the world. I want to have an impact. Though I do not know how to, when I measure what my aspirations are and where I am right now, it just doesn't match. So what could I do? Where could I go? Which environment could I throw myself in? Sorry, that could give me those opportunities. I looked around, give a shot to the USA, visa denied, give a shot to Europe, visa denied. I was like, okay, so where is the nearest African country that could offer me those opportunities? And I looked around and I picked South Africa. Now, Scott, you gotta understand, in those days, I'm talking almost 12 years ago, for me to save money, I had some little bit of money saved from my daily hustle, selling computers here and there, with the money that my mom would borrow. If you put all of that together, it could take me almost about 5 to 7 years to save money to buy a flight ticket from Togo to South Africa. Now, a journey that I was determined to go to anyhow. So I packed my backpack, a few clothes in it, with less than $150 in my pocket. And I was like, hey, Mom, it's time to go. I'm going to go change my destiny. What does that mean? It means whatever it took for me to travel from Togo to South Africa, that was what I was going to do. And that's what I did. And the journey took me about 18 months to go from one side of the continent to the next. And in those 18 months, my family thought I was dead. Okay. Now, those 18 months, Scott, they form a major part of who I am today, because in those 18 months, I knew what it was to wear one jean and wash it overnight and wear it again. In those 18 months, I knew what it was to have 2-3 days with no food, to be with no shelter, to have nobody to go to, and call my own. And eventually, when I landed in South Africa, I call it the promised land. I mean, I thought when I landed, when I got into the country, everything was going to be rosy, but that was a lie. Okay. It was just starting. When I got into that country, I did all kind of jobs, Scott, you can ever think of. I bet you name anything right now on top of your head, and I'll tell you that I've done that. I've been a track cleaner. I've been a security guard. I've been a mason. I've been a carpenter. I've been everything. At a certain point, I was sleeping on certain premises, working like all these jobs that I just named. I was a security guard. I was a mason. I was a helper. I was everything on those premises. Worked there for 3 months with no pay. And I was living off expired food that was thrown outside by a supermarket that was right next door. Now, the question is, when I was going through all of that, did I lose faith? Did I ever lose sight of what I was really after for? The truth is, I never ever lost sight of that. So right after going through this very, very emotional, very, very abusive experience by this white South African guy that called me names, black monkey, this and that, you'll never make it, I decided to start my own street hawking stand, where I would go every morning from my shack, of which the rent was $20, but I couldn't even afford. It was one of those shacks, Scott, that, in the shack, you have these mice that will come and bully you and will eat your food too. You're like, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So I'll go from that shack every morning, go on the side of the street and go and put my little cigarette and things there and be screaming, hi, sir, hi, ma'am, come closer. Let me tell you why you gotta stop, take a moment and buy my apples today. Hello, ma'am, how are you? Come closer. You've got to grab a biscuit today. And I will do that very enthusiastically every single day until one Wednesday afternoon, this gentleman approached me that, hey, listen, I love your energy. How about you come tomorrow to Massmart? Massmart is a division of Walmart in South Africa. How about you come through on Wednesday and I've got an interview for you. Come through for an interview. Really? Cool. Now, I didn't even know. I didn't even have anything to wear. So I went to this friend pastor of mine. He gave me a brand new trouser, a brand new shirt, and I wore those as if they were mine. Walked into the interview room. The interviewer's name is Isabel Cookmore, blonde woman. Walked in, she's like, whoa, man, how can you have so much confidence? I'm like, well, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I perceived that. Okay, you got the job. Just like that. I got the job. So what's the job? Your job is to sell vacuum cleaners. Now, Scott, this, this may sound funny, but the truth is I was about 19 going to 20 then, but I had never seen a vacuum cleaner in my life, okay? I had never seen a vacuum cleaner. And my job was to sell that stuff. Okay, cool, all right. So I got given a sales script, went home, studied that, came back, played with the machine a little bit. Then from that day, I worked for 3 years nonstop, 7 days a week, 12 to 15 hours every single day, making sales, hungry like never before. Now, if anyone has been in sales, they know that in sales, numbers never lie. Now, because of my performance, the competitor company came to me and said, hey, listen, man, we come here Monday to Sunday at whatever time of the day you are here, screaming on top of your lungs as if you're a machine. How about you come join us, not as a salesperson this time, but as an area manager. We have the opportunity to influence other 60 people of our team. I was like, oh yeah, we gotta give you card, this and that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm jumping on it. And I joined the company. 6 months later, I became a regional manager, from leading 60 people to 300 people. From that, 6 months later, I became a national sales manager. All right, cool. Then I see, all right. After working that company for a while, I left to start my own company of exporting hair products. And a year into business, there was a challenge with my co-founder, and that everything I've worked for, Scott, came crashing down. At that point, everything I've built for those past 5-6 years was gone. I was back to zero. And then the question I asked myself was, so what next? What am I going to do next? And when I look back, what truly made me great, what gave me success, was not only my ability to be resilient, but also to lift other people up, to motivate them, to drive them, to coach them. And I remember whenever we had a challenge in the organization, I would tell my CEOs, hey, bring all the salespeople up. and I would run a serious motivation talk, and everybody would roar like, yeah, and sales would just quadruple in the company. Like, all right, cool. So you know what? I'm gonna dive into this, what I identify as my calling, as my gift. And that was 4.5 years ago when I left South Africa to Asia. Okay, so I lived in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, you can call those places. I lived there for about 2-3 years before going to Europe and before coming this side. So that's my story, Scott, in short.
I mean, man, there's so much there to pick apart. I want to go back to living in a house with, how many siblings did you say you have?
9.
9 siblings, 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
I heard you use words like, I was lucky to get into a degree program and I had a dream, and you use the word hope. Those aren't usually words that people associate with, I'm living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 12 people and we're living on $15 a month. So what was it about your parents or your upbringing or a movie you watched, or what happened that you had this desire and this dream? Because I imagine when you go back to visit your family in Togo, I imagine there's a lot of people in your neighborhood that are just stuck in the same rat race. So what was unique about you or your siblings or your parents or growing up that gave you that motivation to say, no, I can go do much greater, bigger things? Why you?
Well, that's a very, very, very great question, Scott, which I must say that has really never been asked me before on the very, very many interviews I've been on. When I look back, even though we didn't grow up with much, I must say that my father, for instance, I mean, he was polygamous. Okay? He has 2 wives. Okay, but even though he was not very present, whenever he was present, you could feel his how do I say, he had these firm rules and regulations by which he ran his home. So I remember that all you had to do, you had 3, he told you, like, listen, you had 3 things, all right? It's chores, it's books, and sleep, all right? Like, that's it, okay? He doesn't want any negotiation, any talk. That's what you got to do. And that, even till today, gave me a very, very good foundation in discipline. And I would say that my father was an animist and my mom was Christian, okay? So I would say that during the week we go for rituals, and then Sunday we go to church. So there was already a foundation of faith base already, even though it was split into different directions. I think there was already a faith-based belief system in the home. Now, if you ask me what made me different, Scott, I think those are part of it. But personally, I've always been this boy that whenever the crowd went left, I went right, because of the conviction, or at least what I believed in. And I've seen that happen throughout my life, through high school, through primary school. I mean, in high school, I was this guy that would go and write speeches and find a way to gather people and make them revolt against the entire system. Okay, I'm not saying that it was a good thing. Okay, but I was just this guy that, for whatever reason, I had this particular view of life, and I was willing to do anything, whatever it took, to bring it to life.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, how old were you when you walked from Togo to South Africa?
I left my home at 17 and a half.
At 17 and a half.
18 then.
And, yeah. I've not had the pleasure of being to Africa, even though I have some close friends that live in Kenya, and I know a lot of people that have traveled there. My ignorant picture of Africa is there's a lot of very dangerous places to trek through. So what was that route, or what countries did you go through, or how did you avoid danger? I mean, obviously, if your family thought that you were dead because you didn't check in for 18 months, there was some danger on that trip. What motivated you to do it, and what were some of the things you saw through that journey?
Yeah, I want to share this with you. The phone I had then, I don't know if you remember those old Nokias.
Yeah.
There's the yellow screen, you can play Snake on it.
Yeah.
Now mine, I had a rubber band, the rubber band you use for money. I had a rubber band that I would strap the battery with. And then mine didn't have a keyboard. It had a gum keyboard, and every ring, I had a matches box. I would take out the matches and press it and pick the code. So you are right. I couldn't check in because because I just didn't have enough to do anything extra, buy credit extra and call anybody. It wasn't enough, So the countries that I went through, Scott, I went through a lot of countries. If anybody knows well the map of Africa, they know that when you leave Togo, going towards the west, you go through Ghana, Ivory Coast, and so forth. You're going towards the east is Benin, Nigeria, Gabon, Cameroon. Then you go to Congo. Well, look, Scott, where I stand today, at least I'm sitting here talking to you, I say confidently that if I hadn't died on that journey, the only day that I would actually die would be the day that I'm called back to my Creator, okay? Because I have seen, I have seen some of the worst dangers ever, okay? I have seen people being gunned down, literally on my left, literally on my right, but I kept going, okay? So I have seen what I can confidently say that what humans would take as the worst.
Yeah. That's tough, because as soon as you mentioned going through Cameroon and the Congo and whatnot, I realized that couldn't have been a pleasant journey. So I'm interested, you mentioned in South Africa, the gentleman that gave you your first kind of break, right? Going from your sidewalk hustle to the job selling vacuums. I heard a quote the other day where it says, opportunities never go away. They just transfer to different people. And I'm wondering what opportunities have come your way since that first job in the vacuum salesman, where it's a brand new world, right? From vacuum salesman in South Africa to like, we're talking on a podcast, you from Turkey, me from California. Like what were some of the additional opportunities or some people that helped you along the way that really stand out?
Yeah. I was just talking about that with a friend of mine today. And I was sharing with the friend that when you are in a journey to fulfilling your life purpose, whether you know it or not, all you've got to do is to pay attention to the signs. And those signs are stepstones that will take you towards where you are called to be. And Scott, for me, until today, I've had countless of opportunities, just like how you say it right now. I mean, for me to be on your podcast right now, it took Nick Johnson to say, hey, listen, go through my page, click these following links and contact these people, okay? And tap into the American audience, okay? And what I'm saying is that, going back to the quote that you said, is that mine says that luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. Right. So basically, luck is also defined by one wise man, that luck is the luck or hazard. What we term as luck or hazard is the manifestation of a law we have no knowledge of. Right. So what I'm saying is that when you are in the pursuit of your purpose, when you are doing what you've got to do, people will just come along and say, hey, listen, how about this? Hey, listen, I've got this for you, I've got that for you. So if you ask me, what are some of the breakthroughs, or at least I call them, what are some of the doors that have been open or held down for people to say, hey, walk through, or here's a window, go through so you can go through to the outside. If you ask me, what are those windows? Oh, Scott, we can start today, but we only finish, in 2029. Okay, only finish 2029, because I can tell you about how before I was on that little street hawking stand, I can tell you about how I went from being on those premises working as security guard, and a mason and living off those expired food. How I went from there to just having a normal conversation with somebody that say, hey, listen, go on this farm, you work on the farm, you live there, and they'll pay you a bit of money. Okay. From there, I went on to that farm. From that farm, I saved a bit of money, and somebody said, hey, listen, do you know that you can actually do a call center certificate in Johannesburg, the city center, and maybe you got a job? Like, oh, really? All right. So I saved money. I went to Johannesburg city center. I failed. I came back. I saved some money. I went back again. I failed. I came back again. I can tell you that from that farm, how I went from that farm to working on a premises where I was a laborer, carrying cement, things all around. From there, I went to work on a certain premises where I said good morning to my white secretary, to the white secretary of the boss, and I got fired for that. Okay. So Scott, what I'm trying to tell you is this, is that if you want me to count all the breakthroughs, all the doors that have been held down for me to walk through to be what I am today, they are countless. And if anybody listening to me right now that has been there for me, I salute you, I praise you, and I thank you for having been there for me. But I guess the message here for the listener or the viewer for that matter is this. Lack is when preparedness meets opportunity. You cannot expect to get a breakthrough if you are just stuck, if you just pause, if you are not in motion, okay? You've got to be doing something. You've got to be taking a certain set of action. For you, it may count for nothing, but while you are in the action, okay, is when you find gold. The African proverb says what? African proverb says that you never find, or at least you never discover wealth when you are sitting on your ass at home. You discover wealth when you take a step outside.
Oh, that's my kind of proverb. You won't find wealth sitting on your ass at home. I like that. That's better than all the Asian proverbs. I need to look up some more African proverbs. I like that. So fast forwarding, obviously you kind of find your voice in leading people and being the regional manager and being able to motivate people, and started your own business, and like you really found your stride leading other people and motivating. How does that become the full-time job? The beautiful curated website you have, the corporate speaking gigs, the coaching programs, the videos. I watched some of your stuff in preparation of this call. It's like, where's the evolution from I'm a regional manager at, a subsidiary of Walmart to like, no, I'm going to have the confidence to go on my own and travel the world being a public speaker and a trainer and a corporate ambassador. Like, how does that happen other than your shirt saying be different? That clearly that's your mantra for your whole life. But how do you make that? How do you make that jump? Like, how's that next stage become?
Yeah. I define faith as the ability to believe in things that don't exist as yet. Okay. The Bible is one of the greatest books that I read time to time. It says that there's power of life and death in our tongue. And if we have the tongue, we should then use it to speak things to existence as though they were. Okay. Now, Scott, it says also that where there's lack of vision, people perish. Okay. Now, in the New Translation, it says that where there's absence of vision, people do not flourish. Okay. Now, if you ask me, what was the jump and how was it like? Now, I have to be vulnerable here. I have to tell you the truth that not because today I'm doing what I'm doing, that when I reached that 4-way stop, when after everything I've worked for the 5-6 years, 12, 15 hours a day, sometimes, I mean, when I was in corporate, Scott, my colleagues would make fun of me that, hey man, like you have to give up your apartment because you're never there. Because I'm always traveling, I'm always on the grind. Okay, I come back, all I do is sleep. Sleep for 2 hours, shower, and off I go again, traveling across the country, across the southern area, doing what I have to do. Okay, hungry like more than ever. So after putting so much work and trying to build up a company and everything came crashing down and I was back to square zero, what I had to do, the first thing I had to do, Scott, was very simple, was to go back to the law of faith, which is believing in things that don't exist as yet, which was to go back to the law of vision, where it says that where there's no vision, people do not achieve, was to go back to the law that said that we must speak life into our lives with our tongue with which we should call things to existence as though they were. So that's what I did. When I looked back, I was like, you know what? Look, I believe that everybody has a gift. Okay, Dr. Miles Monroe, he says that we are all born to be leaders, but not leaders of people necessarily, but first of all, leaders of our own area of gifting. And to our purpose, or our calling, is attached the tool that we're supposed to bring that calling to life with. And that tool is our gift. So I decided to tap into my gift. I decided to use my gift, which is the one of speaking, to build the business out of it. But here's the thing. I had no point of reference, Scott. Okay, like there's no speaker in my family. The last time I was speaking to my nephew, he was like, "Hey, uncle, when I grew up, I want to be a speaker." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I mean, when I was your age, when I tell that to my dad, I want to be a speaker, he probably would have slapped me or something. Okay, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, boy, wake up! Like, who would have put that in your head? Like, take me there. I want to smack that person. Okay, so I couldn't have told that. There was no point of reference. Okay. And I tell about that in my book, How to Be an Unforgettable Orator, which I'm going to give you the link, Scott. You can give it to your people for free. They can download that. That Perfect. I had no point of reference. And therefore, when I landed in Singapore, trying to do my thing in Southeast Asia, I spent 9 months in business without a single client. Okay? nine good months, Scott. Just dabbling. I had to teach English lessons. I had to do any kind of thing just to keep my business going. Okay, so I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act all rosy and do the big talk. No, that's not it. It took the grind. It took the persistence. I mean, I could have given up 6 months down the line or 3 months down the line that look, this doesn't work. Okay, right. There's no point of reference for me to go to. But I did, what one of my best friends quote me for. I closed the door and work. When you know that you don't have what it takes, what you've got to do is zone out. Okay, get into your zone. All right, forget about everything and study. Work. Okay, that's what I did. I mean, that's why today I talk about some people and I hope to meet them one day. If they listen to me right now, people like Les Brown and T.D. Jakes. Now, what I did was I studied these people very, very closely. Okay, I looked at their speeches over and over again. How do they craft the story? How do they put in a quote? How do they stand on stage? Because I knew that I didn't have $10,000 or $15,000 to go to any seminar or any workshop to learn how to speak or learn how to coach. Okay, and I went back to my foundation. How do people transform? What happens? Man, come on. If we come to where I am right now, I'm living here temporarily, but I've got a library of more than 66 books that I've read in the past 3 months. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that if you ask me how I was able to do that, it's by working, ladies and gentlemen. It's by putting in the work. And again, believing that if you believe it, you don't have to see it to believe, but you have to believe it so that you can see it. That is my word, and I'm sticking to it.
The theme that I keep hearing over and over again in everything you're saying is this combination of faith plus hard work, And I think in, modern America, and you've seen a lot more of the world than I have, so maybe you can speak to this in other countries. I feel like in a lot of America, there might be the faith, but the faith is a little bit misplaced and they're not putting in the hard work. So maybe their faith is in government, or their faith is in somebody else is going to help them, or their faith is in, Christianity, but then they don't put in the work, right? Or there's a lot of people that are a little bit rejected and dejected, and they're like, I'm working really hard, but I don't have faith that there's a payoff. And so, when I look around at the problems, at least in America, what you're saying just rings true to me, that there's a lack of either faith in the system, faith in your country, faith in the fact that your hard work is going to get you there, or there's just simply a lack of hard work and people don't want to put in the work. So, maybe you can speak a little bit to where you've seen that in a good sense or a negative sense, like in your travels. Is there a lack of faith in the world, or is there a lack of hard work? Because I feel like you have both of them, which is why we could drop you in another country with no money tomorrow, and you would find a way to make it because you have faith and hard work. So what are you seeing out there in your travels as far as this like overarching belief in faith, whether that's God or anything else, and then pairing that with the hard work?
Yeah. When you spoke about dropping me in any country, I remember when I was at a certain point, I hadn't mentioned that, but I was selling insurance, on the pavement, like where you wear a tie and you stand on the pavement from 5 o'clock in the morning, you reach the office, do some backs, and 7, 8 a.m. you hit the pavement doing hi, sir, hi, ma'am, how you come closer. You're trying to get people's bank account numbers, people's cards details on the street. Hello, like some crazy, you pitch the hell out of yourself. And I remember, when I got that to that group, there was one lady that walked up to me and said, "Hey man, listen, like I don't think this is you cut off for it. Okay, you are a little African from Togo somewhere. Like this. We have a community here. You're not cut off for this." And this is what I told her. Say, "Hey, listen, if you put me in a toilet, okay, with the people walking in the toilet one at a time, I will close them. Okay, I will sell to them." So Scott, when I started this interview, when we were talking about the youth, I was saying that, and this is not only a problem of the youth. I've noticed that what we lack right now, most of people lack in the world right now, is the absence of vision. Okay, and for you to actually bring your vision to life, you have to believe in the vision, and that's what we're talking about, the faith. And then for you to actually put in the work, because it's a process. There's a quote that says that what you become on your way to success is much more important than the success you achieve itself. You get what I'm saying? And that process is a process that, the truth is not always the way we want it. Okay, it is the way we need it, but not the way we want it, because what we want it sweet. We want it easy. Okay, we want to lie on the couch and get that golden plate with honey and everything, with that beautiful blonde girl sitting on our lap. That's how we want it. Okay, but the truth is, it's not gonna come like that. It's gonna drag you through the mud. It's gonna slap you on the wall. It's gonna strip you from everything. And it's only those that persevere through difficulties and pain that can find themselves with that success. So I'm saying, yes, Scott, this is not only an American problem right now. This is a disease that is eating us from all around the world. And that's why in my book, Be Transformed, I talk about the 3 demons of mankind: fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. The African proverb says that what the enemies outside can do us no harm if there are no enemies within. And the enemies within are nothing more but fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. So it's not something only happening within America, but it's a virus, it's a mind virus that is eating the whole world, where we don't believe in anything anymore, let alone the person in the mirror. We don't even believe in that person. To wanting to be taking little steps. Nobody's asking you to start today and go conquer the moon. No. If I am here today, if I'm able to do a 60-minute or 90-minute keynote speech today, engaging, powerful, inspiring, leaving people with wow, it's because I was able to start 5.5 years ago by 2 minutes motivational tapes. Then the 2 minute became a 5 minute. If I'm able today to go one round, 150 push-ups every morning, it's because one day I started with 5 push-ups and became 7, became 10, right? So I mean, there's a quote that says that we underestimate what we could do in 5 years and overestimate what we could do in 1 year, because we're in a world of social media, and somebody somehow is gonna get a breakthrough. 1 out of 7 billion is gonna get a breakthrough, do a 1 video, and then boom, he blows. No, the reality is not like that. You have to put in the work, and it may not be sweet, it may not be juicy, but if you push through, definitely you can get to where you want to get.
It's so funny. I wasn't sure if you were going to go there, but you mentioned social media. And obviously, social media is so powerful for the people that want to work at it. I get business off of social media. You get business off of social media. We met because of some connection on social media. But I also can't help but think that social media really plays into, especially with children, that fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. Because if you're constantly just comparing yourself to the other guy, I'm not Elon Musk. It's like, well, there's only one fucking Elon Musk. Like in 7 billion people, like you said, there's one Elon Musk. Like, I shouldn't be comparing myself to him. Do you see that when you do, your volunteer work with kids and you're trying to talk to kids about vision? Do you see that social media is impacting those, the fear, the self-doubt, and the low self-esteem?
Oh yeah, so much, Scott. So much. And you know what? The sad thing is most of them are not even, they confess it. They say it openly that, social media depresses me. Okay, when I go through the feed of my friends and I see this 18-year-old that just bought a Lamborghini, or this friend of mine that we left school just 2 years ago is now doing big things in Dubai or this, it depresses me. So Scott, yes, it's true. Social media is playing a huge role when it comes to, people experiencing those three demons. I was telling a friend of mine that, look, personally, if it wasn't for what I do, the fact that you need the right channel to spread your message across, you're never gonna find me on social media. Okay, you never find me, okay? Because I'm this guy I just want to be in my corner, cook my African food, eat it, enjoy it, go through life and read some books, okay, and have great conversation with people. I'm just that guy, okay? And if I'm blessed enough to have that beautiful woman by my side, oh, come on, man, let's go. Let's enjoy life one at a time, okay? And you know what, Scott? At the end of the day, we can inspire 1 billion people today. At the end of the day, we can make the $1 billion that we want to make today, but life only boils down to that quality of life that we live. And in that quality of life, there is no social media. You know what I'm saying? There's no Facebook, there's no Instagram. You see, so I mean, this basically, through your question, Scott, I want to use this to make a call, to give a shout out to all the young people out there that are listening to me right now, that you should never ever let yourself be depressed by social media, because you know what the harsh truth is that 90% of the content that is out there is fake. All right. Bullshit. And I'm saying fake with capital F, like FF, like double F. Okay. You get what I'm saying? I mean, if I say one F is too, we can double F and AKA. All right. It's crazy with capital K. So I mean, you can't let stuff like that depress you, get into your subconscious and suppress you. No. The one that is in you is greater than the one that is out there. Okay. Yep. You've got to take a stand and tap into your individuality, because as much as they are somewhere thinking right now, let me put it this way, as much as they are on the ground thinking that, oh, the person in the tree is eating good food and I mean good fruit, and they are living off the leftover of that person being thrown down, there is someone next door looking at them that, oh, yeah, he's standing underneath the tree and getting the best of leftovers. Do you get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that I don't care how crap your life is, okay? I don't care how rich your life is, but you too can be an inspiration to someone. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes the tough things we go through serves as lesson for others to be better. You get what I'm saying? So our life can be an inspiration to somebody. So if you listen to me right now, there is someone somewhere looking at you and thinking that if only I could have what Joe has, if only I could have what Anita has, if only I could be like Joanita or Lucretia, and I'm using your American black names right now, okay? You know what I'm saying? There's somebody looking at you right now, if I just could be you, and you owe it to those people, come on, to live a life that you want to live, the life on your terms, the life that is coming, the life that is a gift, okay, from the creator or the universe, or whatever you may call it. You owe it to your life to live that life free of what social media is feeding you.
That's amazing, man. I got some questions. We're recording this December of 2021. It'll probably get released out to the public in like January of 2022. So when we're talking about Steven, what is Steven excited about going into 2022? Obviously, we've dealt with a lot of craziness the last couple of years, but what are you excited about getting back to doing, or what's on your agenda for 2022 that you're excited about?
All right. So, I mean, first of all, before I come to 2022, Scott, I want to tell you that My vision is that in 21 years from now, I want to be president of my country. Okay, in 21 years from now. Now, before that, I want to be able to have inspired at least 750 million people. Okay, I put the benchmark at 150 million, and then I met what's his name, man? I met this friend of mine. His name is Mike. He's like, hey, man, come on. I thought you were a big dreamer. Put that number up, okay? So I timed it 5 times, 750 million, and I'm on a mission to do that, one person at a time. So if you ask me, based on my vision, is going to determine what my action plan is, going to determine what kind of life I live today. What are the things that I do, the people I associate with, the channel that I use, the lifestyle I want to live. So if you ask me what I want to do in 2022, 2022 is my year that I want to crack my $1 million. And while I'm doing that, I want to have inspired at least 10% of that number of 750 million. So I'm on a ride. If you listen to me right now, you want me to come to your neighborhood, you want me to come to, I don't care, your church, your company, and come to talk to your people, give me a shot. I'm hungry, okay? I'm ready for you. Like, I'm gonna eat the wounded ones too, okay? And the prisoners as well. I'm eating everything.
That's amazing, man. I can't wait for 21 years from now to be able to say, like, man, we had the president of Togo on our podcast 21 years ago, because I wouldn't bet against you. You're gonna do something great, man. I always have a fun question that I like to ask. What's your favorite movie and why? Hopefully it's something that we might have seen here in America, but what's your favorite movie and why?
Oh, you sure have seen that. I mean, I think you're asking me a tough question though, because, hell, man. But anyway, I will tell you, I think the favorite movie I've seen thus far, because I've seen so many, some are sales, some are business, but you know what? To honor the act that started, I want to talk about the favorite movie I've seen is Wakanda, Marvel. I'm a Marvel fan. Okay?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I love superheroes. Okay. Wakanda is my movie, man. I can love the action, I love the guy, I love everything in the technology. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. I just took my 5-year-old the other night to go see the new Spider-Man movie, and it's very good. So when you get a chance to see it, it's excellent.
I have to catch that for sure. Yeah.
And you gave us a lot of ideas, a lot of great quotes, a couple of African proverbs. If you were going to leave people with one piece of advice, right? Maybe they're a little bit frustrated or down on themselves over the last couple of years, or they've had some challenges in their health or their business or whatnot. If you were to give some type of uplifting message to leave people with, to be like, hey man, this is what you got to focus on to make things great, what would your parting message be?
Oh man, thou had asked a tough question, Scott, but I love your questions, man. Look, there is so much I could share with people to take a stand, to find their voice, to come to the light, because it's at the light that every beautiful thing happens. Okay, but here's the thing, Scott. Before coming to the light, you have to go through the dark. We cannot talk about the light without the dark. Okay, we talk about the light, but the darkness is senior to the light. Okay, the light carries no value if there is no darkness. Okay, and you know what? I'm sure that you've heard about the iceberg theory, where people only see the top, they never see what's underneath it. Okay, the transformation, the growth happens in the dark. Those old films, where you take a picture, then you have to develop it, and where you have to go into the dark, switch off the light, put in the water, and then shake it. Okay, and then what happens? A picture with color comes out, right? So here's what I'm saying. Okay, here's what I'm saying. Whatever you are going through right now, okay, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is in the marriage. I don't care what it is in the business. I don't care what it is that you're going through right now. Yeah, here are some things that I want you to take. I want you to take with you. Okay, take it, hold on to them, put in your chest, write it down, frame it, put in your house. I don't care what you do, but hold on to these ones. Okay. Number one, understand that you should never ever apply a temporary solution. Yeah, a temporary solution to no, what am I saying? I'm sorry. Let me run it. Okay. You should never apply a permanent solution to a temporary problem. There you go. Okay. Now, why am I saying that? Right now, I'm worried. Just it's cold out here. But just 2 months ago, it was beautiful. It was summer. Okay. Everybody was how you're wearing short and everything. There's time for everything. Okay. Before you know it, that challenge that you're going through right now is a story that you're going to tell. But you cannot tell the story if you haven't gone through that. Okay. So you cannot take that thing you are going right now and then start cursing yourself that, no, I am not worth it, that I can never make it. No, you can't do that yourself. Never, ever apply a temporary, a permanent, oh, this girl is messing me around. Never apply a temporary, a permanent solution. Yeah, there you go. A permanent solution to a temporary problem, because before you know it, that problem will have gone. Number two, dream big. Okay, dream big. There's a famous writer that says, raise your standards. Okay. Now, whatever you're dreaming right now, I'm going to give you the advice of Mike, times it by 5. Okay. If you are dreaming of making $100,000, okay, or if you are right now just there and there, times it by 5. Because the more you stretch yourself, the more you can achieve. Okay. And when you raise that standard, what goes along with the standard is action. Take action. The only way you get feedback through the ideas that you have, through even the doubts that you are feeling inside, to those 3 demons. The only way you face those 3 demons heads on is by taking action. Because when you take action, you get feedback. You know what? All right, okay. You know what? I was actually thinking this, but it's not as bad as I think. Okay. I mean, there is this girl. There's this girl, Scott. You asked me, so I'm gonna share it with you anyhow. There's this girl that was in that little French church when I was in South Africa, okay? And because I wear the same jean every single day, wash it overnight and put it back on, I mean, eventually that jean started to fade out, okay? It was turning out, But, I saw that girl in that church, the way she sang, she commanded angels to come down, okay? And I'm like, you know what? I'm taking this girl out for coffee. I went to this girl, I said, hey, beautiful way, how's it going? You know what? I really love the way you sing, man. Like, come on, you talk to me. You know what this guy told me, Scott? Yeah, this guy looked at me, and before I know it, she goes like, bah! She spit on myself, like forget it, Steven. Like I will never, ever, ever, ever be. There's a racist word called for foreigners in South Africa. It's called kwere kwere. Okay. It's like I'll never ever be with kwere kwere. You know why? Because you smell, you wear the same jean every single day. I was like, what? God. When I went down home that night, God, I swear to God, I was like, man, this girl cut me deep. But you know what? I'm going to take that deep cut and transform it into a spring bar. Now, guess who? Guess who this girl was texting just 2 years down the line? You know what I'm saying? Like, guess who this girl was texting just 2 years down the line? That, that little guy that was wearing the same jean every single day is now driving a Fortuner past their house. Guess who that girl is texting? Like, hey, come on, man, you want to have coffee? I'm like, no, I'm not having no coffee with you. Forget it. All right. Now, where am I saying this, Scott? Why am I saying this? Is that whatever you are in your life right now, for me, then I was like, I know what I'm going through, but it's going to be okay. Now, whatever you are going through right now, there are going to be people that do not believe as to where you are, okay? But what you make of those people believe in you is your choice, right? But other people's belief does not determine who you can be. It merely determines where you start. Do you get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to tell you, Scott, is that those people that you mentioned earlier on that are going through whatever challenge they're going through right now, what I know for a fact that what kills people the most when they are going through something like that is not even how they see themselves in the mirror, but it's how people see them All right. We are afraid of of the fact that how people are gonna think of me if I get a divorce. We are afraid, what would my circle think of me if I let go of this company that has been killing me, killing my finances. We are afraid of what other people may think. What I'm trying to tell you right now is be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renew your vision. Embrace a new vision because you know what? It will not be long before those same people that you are afraid of what they may think of you, those will be the very same people that will come and praise you, that will send their children to you to come and learn from you because you're a warrior, an overcomer, a game changer, a winner, because you are just great. That's my message, Scott. Thank you very much.
Man, that's the way to end the podcast. And every time I'm feeling down about myself, I'm just gonna go rewatch this video. I'm ready to go to jiu-jitsu and like rip somebody's head off right now. I have a lot of faith in myself, so whoever I wrestle with today is gonna be in big trouble. Hey, Steven, man, I really appreciate you being on, and I hope one day somehow there's an approved visa and you make your way to Los Angeles or Las Vegas. We spend a lot of time in those two cities, so I'd love to do this in person, grab a drink and, go find you an American lady who's a big fan of Black Panther, and I hope we can stay in touch, man, because I really love your message and I love all your stuff. So thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much, Scott. I got news for you. My brother is in the U.S. Army. He's been American for almost 15 years. So I've got a petition hanging for me. So probably by next year, I'll be getting a green card. So we might have that beer very soon.
Perfect. That'd be great, man. We'd love to have you. America needs a lot of quality immigrants, and apparently we need more people from Togo. So thanks for being on, man. We'll talk soon, and we'll send you all this information as soon as it's ready to be released.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for what you do. Appreciate you.
Bye.